My neighbour banged on the door last night. Luckily, being 3 a.m., I was still up playing my guitar.
Badly.
Yeah. Yeah. And now Wonderwall. No. And they shouted through the door, how about a little respect? And I replied, I'm not a big Aretha Franklin fan, but I'll do this one for you. I got this one that's got sent through. This one has been emailed through, and it's prefaced with with terrible jokes for your terrible jokes section of the podcast. So someone's got our measure. Anyway, and it's Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm going to start naming from here on in.
Oh, name and shame.
Yeah.
Elizabeth sent in and said, the other day I visited the charity shop and picked an old album up called Sound of Wasps. When I got home, I played it and realised it didn't sound anything like Wasps. Turns out I've been playing the B-side.
Oh.
Come on, that's a good one. It's a solid one. That's a solid
God, it's a solid one, but not like, I mean, I can think of what other solid it is. Mind you, it might be a bit runny as well. Yeah.
No, stop it.
Yeah, with some sweet corn in it.
Do you know alligators can live up to 100 years, which is why there's an increased chance that you'll see them later?
Right. Okay.
Alligator? No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bloody hell.
Oh, no, that required work. Shame on you.
It required work and an explanation as well.
Yeah.
A set of instructions and an IKEA screwdriver and an Allen key.
Okay, here we go.
Don't try and fix it with another one. God's sake.
This one's really bad, so I'm just going to read it out. So this one. An ancient Greek walks into his tailor's shop with a pair of torn pants. Euripides, says the tailor. Yeah, Eumenides, say the man. Right, anyway, I'll leave it there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Black Dog 223. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
I'm Elton.
And this week, technical issues notwithstanding, we'll see how everyone's week's been. We'll have a bit of feedback for the Humanoid. And people really liked that one.
Oh, God.
And then we'll move on to this week's movie, which is 4 Weddings and a Theology Lesson. I mean, sorry, it's The Heretic with Hugh Grant in it, being his most Hugh Granty since he Hugh Granted a Hugh Grant. But we'll get to that soon enough. So, while everything's stable and running, let's go to you, Jim. How's your week been, sir?
There will now be a short intermission.
Albatross! 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 Course you don't get bloody wafers with it!
Okay, so we're recording. I don't know where these files are going, by the way. So this is going to be fun.
Nor can I. Nor do I. It's just giving us a little message, a bit like, objects in the rearview mirror may appear closer than they are. Actual recordings may appear louder than they are.
Yeah. Anyway.
That wouldn't have been a good Meatloaf song, that would it?
No, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do anything for this Skype recording.
No, but he did one called Objects in the Rearview Mirror. So it's the audio may be louder than it actually is.
Well, anyway, Jim, you're still live.
Yes, that's good. Something.
That's a good start.
How long for before the gremlins strike? We'll see.
Exactly. So I'll tell you what, let's just go with Jim. How was your week?
Not been great. The side effects are starting to kick in.
Yeah.
My hair is now coming out, but it still looks the same. But it's when I wash my hair or brush my hair, it's kind of like you're molting like a dog with all these loose hairs. And you go, okay, that's a bit more than normal comes out.
Okay.
Whether it all goes or not, we don't know. I've not booked in to get shorn like a sheep at the local barbers just yet. We'll see how it goes.
Is that
I had my 5th chemo today, so I've only got 1 more to go. So,
oh, blimey. Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Well,
So
you won't lose much more then.
I was going to say, you won't lose much more, yeah.
Hopefully not. We'll see. I mean, I'm not asked myself. I've never been bald or had a skinhead, so that'd be new for me.
Oh,
But,
right.
we'll see how it goes. But also, kind of the sensitivity in my throat that's sort of been ramping up, and it's kind of all right. Tomorrow, I'm getting some painkillers and a syrup because now eating's getting a bit uncomfortable, which isn't great.
No.
However, that's not the worst of my week.
Okay.
I had to have some roof repairs done, which ended up costing me way more than I actually wanted to pay.
Oh, no.
I didn't want to pay any, but I had noticed there were some loose tiles and we did the gutters cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
But then the guy who did it, we found a few other things need fixing, and it's kind of, this is okay. This has got very expensive now. But at least the roof is fixed.
Yeah.
And as roof prices go, it could have been a lot worse because I not to pay for a whole new roof, which is tens of thousands of pounds. But it was many hundred. It's kind of bollocks.
Okay.
But yes, so
what is it? Leaking or what's going on?
Well, it wasn't leaking. There was just some like loose tiles, and so the gutters were full, but there was like the chimney pot was loose, which needed fixing back on, and it needed repointing so the chimney doesn't blow down and shit like that.
Right.
And actually, the ridge roof tiles, which some of us had spotted, had cracks. They were all completely loose. It was only the metal ends holding them on.
Oh,
so it's a good job they're replaced and fixed before the winter. But it's one of those things with house repairs. You're always like, Jesus, I didn't want to pay that. But then again, I'd rather not pay like 50 times that for a new roof 2 years down the line where I didn't do anything now.
Yes.
So you got to be philosophical. But it's like, cars and house repairs, they always cost you more than you're expecting. Where you think, there'll be a couple £100. No, maybe times that by 3.
Oh,
4.
Oh, God.
So yeah. It never rains, but it pours. But you can read what it's like now because it's fucking fixed.
Yeah.
All the loose tiles are gone.
Well, that's good.
So
that's the main thing.
Yeah. That is the main thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, I did watch a rather intriguing Mexican movie.
Oh, yes.
I saw it was compared to Last Night with the Devil because it's about a TV show in Mexico with an expose for black magic ring. However, it's not actually kind of mockumentary or found footage. I mean, you get big sections like from the studio, but there's also other characters doing other stuff behind the scenes as various people are trying to like get the truth out.
Right.
But it's called The History of the Occult. And it's really good. If it comes up on streaming anywhere, we'll do it because I think it's a perfect Black Dog discussion movie. It's a movie that's quite cryptic. It's not primer cryptic, but you've got to pay attention and put the pieces together as it's telling you as it goes along. And it's very intriguing. And it does something entirely different to Last Night with the Devil. So we're a lot stranger. I won't say any more, but say they're definitely worth a look. It's really good. If you if you enjoyed the twisty turny sort of films we've done recently, you'll like this one. I mean, it's sort of a horror film, but it's more about the weirdness. It's more kind of strange, weird stuff happening, and then sort of like people being possessed and that kind of sort of stuff.
Nice.
It's a very, very odd film, but a very good one. But yes, I'll bang the drum for that. So,
cool.
Definitely recommend that.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, and where did you see that?
The Mexican Cinema Equidistant.
Cinema ella equidistant. De biblioteca, donde es cinemateca. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, but I also saw, thanks to someone sending me a link for a screener.
Yes.
Bring Her Back.
Oh.
The second film by the people who made Talk to Me.
Oh, yes.
And it's good.
Yeah.
Traumatic, but good.
Oh, nice.
Very much picks up where Talk to Me left off.
Yeah.
Could be set in the same universe, possibly, but it's another story about weird, creepy, disturbing supernatural shit going down in a fractured family and secrets and lies and
Okay.
just superb performances all around and just a brilliantly crafted movie. This is proper I love it when you get directors, you see the first movie, you think, oh, that's good. Then the second one comes, it's like a huge leap forward and it's built on the first one.
Oh, right.
What Bringer Back's like. Really, really, not just a good horror film, but this is just a really, really good film.
Nice.
Might be what I say, say Saltburn good.
Ooh.
If you know what I mean,
Yeah.
It's not just a good horror film, it's a bloody good film. It's really well done. There's some really good stuff in it and very powerful.
Right.
And, high recommend. If you like Talk to Me, you'll be very pleased with this, I think. It's it's the logical progression. And you can see the directors, Danny and this one, Philip, they're really stretching their wings with this one with a bigger budget and higher profile cast and more in-depth storytelling and there's more ambition. It's these are going to be good people to watch. They're going to give us some bloody good films on the strength of the first two.
Right.
So
Cool.
Definitely check that out.
Yeah, Bring Her Back. Because I've seen posters for that and I've seen it's about to appear on Amazon, the pay rental one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If it's not already on there. So, interesting. That's good. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, good.
Good. Ooh, good.
So dramatic, but good. Have something happy to watch afterwards. Have some nice cartoons.
Oh well, I've got one. I've got one like that. I've run down in my week. So, interesting, cool. Okie dokie. Anything else, sir?
No, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead.
while everything's still working.
Yeah.
We're saying all of this. We have no idea how much of this is going to get recorded. So this could all just turn to shit. But anyway, keep the faith. Keep the faith. We're doing all right. So over to you then, Elton. How's your week, sir?
It's been pretty quiet. I've been at work, which is always fun. Doing many miles.
Sorry.
Up yours, Barnard.
Oh, it's kind of on the same sort of. No, anyway, sorry.
No, I had a pretty quiet week because I spent the week before around my mum's building a fence. I think I can't remember if I mentioned that or not.
Last week, yeah.
That was in the sweltering heat, so I decided to not do that this weekend. So it's been pretty quiet. I did go and see a movie at the cinema. I haven't been to the cinema since I saw Paddington in Peru.
Okay.
Was it really that bad that you managed to
put you right off the experience?
No, I just don't end up going because it's so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
And I had one of them moments where I bought a medium popcorn and a medium drink and looked at them and went, they've got smaller. They've got fucking smaller, you bastards.
The enshittification of the cinema snack.
It's the wagon wheel effect.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Has happened again, hasn't it? You son of a bitch.
But what did you go and see?
It's a pretty obvious movie. I went to see the F1 movie.
Oh, nice.
Ah, right.
Cars
go round in circles movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Cars go round in circles.
Is it pronounced F1 or is it?
Or is it help? Because that's the button for the help button. Go on then, Elton. What was it then?
It's pronounced F1. It stars Brad Pitt as a 60-year-old Formula One driver because it works.
Yeah.
if you like sports movies, if you like Days of Thunder, if you like Top Gun, if you like cheesy Tony Scott movies,
yeah,
you're gonna like it.
Nice.
And you pretty much forget about what's going on. It's not about plot. It really isn't.
I bet he wins at the end.
Not saying a word. Not giving it away, honestly.
I bet he wins and earns respect of his younger compadre that he's been drafted in to show the ropes.
And plays a blinding set at Live Aid.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, wrong biopic.
I'm guessing there's a young compatriot hothead who's the hot shit, but he hasn't got the experience. Whereas the old man, he's got the experience, but he hasn't won anything in years because of a terrible tragedy in his past.
Were you sat next to me?
No, I've never seen this film in my life. It's just as soon as you say Top Gun Maverick and Top Gun and Days of Thunder, I just put the entire plot together in 5 seconds in my head.
Yep.
Oh, well,
but
there you
do
go.
You know what? It doesn't. If you know, this is my problem. So me and Andy have recorded an episode of it because we have to, because, it's Formula One and kind of have to.
Yeah.
So we've done that episode. That is out in the wild. I'll plug the shit out of that later on.
Mm-hmm.
But I went into that review with the thought of, do I put movie review hat on, or bollocks, we all knew what it was going to be, let's just go watch it type hat on? And
Well,
I have to go with the, we all knew what this was going to be. If you're going to dive into it and really nitpick it, then it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
But it looks glorious.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So if you want something that's really easy to watch, that you could disappear and make a cup of tea and know exactly where you are,
or
in that movie,
you're going to see it and figure it all out. Yeah.
Yeah. Then wait for this to be on streaming because you'll have a ball with it.
Right.
Nerds like me sit there going, but this is wrong.
Yes.
And this is ever so slightly wrong, but it is still wrong.
It must be destroyed utterly.
It is so close to being correct, but it is still wrong.
Yes.
And so I must burn it with all the fires of the suns I can acquire.
Okay.
I had a friend who watched, what's that Sylvester Stallone movie where he's the mountain climber?
Oh, Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, right? Okay, no, I watched that. It's pretty much a popcorn movie. He climbs mountains and that, and he was just fuming all the way through it. You can't do that with a pair of ice picks. That's a bit like you then, is it, Elton?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. There's so much that I could just nitpick on all the way through. Unfortunately, if I do that, there is no movie. And what's the point? We need a bit of fun in our lives every now and again. And do you know what? They made a bit of fun in their lives. Yeah, they made a bit of money along the way. And if people find fun in that entertainment, then so be it. And I'm very happy for them. Sometimes I can just hold my hands up and go, do you know what? It's not for me. This is for me. But I know where I am with it as well. And it's important to know where you are with it before you go into it. Otherwise, if you go in with it with a critiquing eye, then you're losing out straight away.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's a lot to be said for just enjoying the movie on its own basis. It's just like, what did you expect to get?
Well,
which I guess is going to come my way when we get to one of the films I watched this week. But because I think me and Darren are going to be on the opposite ends of the spectrum on this one. But because he never replied to me after he said he was going to. So I think...
I was going to see it. Yeah, so I went to watch it, but we'll talk about that later.
So there's a lot to be said if it's just a thing that you can enjoy because you're in that world of it, and you can kind of just go, you know what, fuck it, it's a bit of fun. Then why not have at it?
And sometimes it's nice not to. I thoroughly enjoy ripping these movies that we do to shreds sometimes. I love deep diving in on them. I love the stupid ones that really fucking annoy me, the Humanoid, and the other stuff that we do.
Barbara Crampton.
The sensible stuff that we do as well. And
when was that? What year was that?
Not your weeks, no.
It's true, but I'm not going to lie. Go on.
But to actually go and watch a movie just for watching a movie is really nice. And I think I enjoyed it for that. So it was a little bit longer than I was expecting.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours long, which, is longer than most races. So, but
were they doing the Daytona or something? 24-hour Le Mans or something?
No, they did a bit of Daytona at the very beginning. So there we go. But it's what do you expect? And so I can't really complain about it. I think there will be one day where I do put that critical hat on and absolutely destroy it.
When we review it.
when I won't put it on the docket, you are more than welcome to put it on there, and then I will tear into it. But until that day comes, then I just have to accept that it is a movie for entertainment purposes, and it filled that genre completely.
Okay, cool.
And here endeth my week.
Thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk. Brilliant. Okie dokie then, Elton. Well, F1 or FWAM or Help. Still in the cinemas. Go see it, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, Darren.
Yes. Hello.
Your week. Hello.
My week.
Your week.
My week, has been a week.
A series of days.
It's been a series of days, culminated in a weekend, right at the very end of it. So,
starting with a Monday.
Starting with a Monday, yes. So for the past week or so, I've actually had the run of the place here because Ree's been looking after a friend of ours, house, not very far away. So I've been sat here in my pants most of the time, eating skips
on your pizza box sofa.
Yeah, on my pizza box sofa. That's right. Yes, just looking the prime specimen of manhood.
Like Temu Jabba the Hutt.
Yep, indeed. It's I get visitors. Dada solo.
Didn't want a wanga. More pizza.
Do you want a wanga?
No,
I don't want a wanga. Thank you very much.
Not again. My facial recognition has not gone through.
Yeah, that's it. You've actually porked out too much when the facial recognition on your phone doesn't recognise you. Who the fuck are you? Is the message that comes back.
Police, I've been stolen. Is the phone.
I don't remember. So anyway, this week, it was Maria's birthday this week. She turned 17, and we went out to this rather wonderful Japanese restaurant,
nice,
in Cobham, which had some absolutely delicious food. Really, really nice. Although I do love the actual description of the place. Somebody at the table said, this is like Japanese tapas. So, yeah. Although, you know what? That's actually a fair sort of summation of what we've got here.
It's Japanese, that's what it was. Spanish food.
Yeah, it's like, tiny little plates, of stuff. But
Japas?
Christ almighty.
Japas.
There we go. Japas.
I'm glad you said that and not me.
Is that racist? Is it? Do we know? Can we consult? Is there a book? Have we got a
You
thing?
don't have to worry about Javas unless you're unless you're Dan one among us, and we've already established you can't do that because your phone's locked.
Alexa, is that racist? Yes.
Hold on, it seems to have rebooted itself in terror.
So
I'm not answering that. I'm out.
So yes, so there was that on the Saturday. So that was lovely. Let's see, what else did we do this week? Went and watched a film, which I know crosses over with yours, Lee.
Yeah, that's right. You can mention it because I've got lots of films to mention this week. I've done a ton of them, so go for it.
I've only got two. So I watched Jurassic World Rebirth, which I wasn't expecting that much from. And you know what? I actually quite enjoyed it. I didn't think it was as it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. I actually got some enjoyment out of it. So
cool.
yes, yeah. Certainly better than the last three offerings.
But that's a bar. That's a bar you can't limbo under, even if you were a piece of paper.
Indeed.
Oh, a high bar.
No, it's not. It's not, and there's not really much you can do with the actual sort of subject matter these days. It's either, you've got a park full of these things and it goes out of control, or the experimental places or on the other islands, which they now magically have got stuff in them that we need. So let's go there and do a thing.
There's other islands?
There's other islands? Now there is, yes.
Oh, God. Just...
I'm not spot, because this has already been mentioned in other Jurassic films anyway, so it's although this one...
Are we going to the other island? No, we're going to the other island.
Going to the other island. Despite what it kind of suggests it's being a reboot, it's not really a reboot. It is a continuation of the whole Jurassic World thing.
But it is shooting that down in flames. That's the thing. The most interesting bit about the Jurassic World thing was that the dinosaurs have broken containment and are starting to thrive on the world.
Yeah, but then they start going on in this, the dinosaurs have kind of like they're not really
causing traffic jams.
Yeah, it's
they have opposable thumbs.
Dinosaurs are old news, and they haven't survived very well in most parts of the world. But around the equatorial belt on the planet, that's where they're kind of thriving. So they're not. This is the convenient thing that they've thrown in there, so they can kind of,
Yeah. But that's my point. The only interesting bit to come out of the previous three movies is, and now the Earth has proper dinosaurs on it. And it's like, What could you do with that? And apparently the answer is nothing. Nothing at all. You couldn't do Planet of the Apes. You couldn't do some sort of genetic hyper-evolution of the dinosaurs. You couldn't go somewhere new and interesting with it, but all we do is just go, nah, do you know what? They can't survive anymore. They've gone back to the island. What the fuck?
No, not back to the island.
No.
To the equator, right?
Yeah,
so the hot
equator.
regions around, they're in the equatorial regions now.
Yeah, that's where Isla Nublar and Isla Sorn were. They're down by Equatorial New Guinea. Equatorial Guinea, sorry.
Yes,
the other island.
The other parts of the equator. They've gone there as well. I don't know. I don't write this shit. Okay, this is it. I just go on what they tell me. This is it.
That's my point. It's just fucking. Oh, go on, carry on. I came out the cinema very cross at fucking 10 past 10.
But why? You've seen these films before.
Because they went to the other.
In fact, do you know what?
Island.
I am surprised. I was shocked when you said you got a ticket. I thought, why is he buying a ticket to a Jurassic Park film?
Well,
it's like if you had said to me, you know what, I'm off to see the latest Fast and Furious movie, I'd be like, the fuck is going on? All right, who are you and what you done with Lee?
Well, in fairness, the reason is because I just signed up for my new car insurance, and Meerkat Movies gave me a free ticket.
So you used it for this?
Yeah, because I was off on that Wednesday, and it was 9 o'clock in the morning screening, which meant there was no fucker in the cinema. So I thought, well, I'll have some of that.
So there was no Paul W.S. Anderson films you could have gone and watched instead. You went and watched Jurassic Park.
Uwe Boll's next one isn't out yet.
Well, you know what? If you will go beat your face against a brick wall, you're going to bleed. What can I say, Lee?
But I mean, as I said to Andy Plastides on the Facebook,
did he go and watch it as well?
Oh, he hasn't gone and seen it.
I was going to say, what the fuck is going on in this world?
No,
we really have gone through the dark mirror, haven't we? Just shit's going on now. I just don't understand.
Oh, don't kill Jim, for Christ's sake. No, but
what the fuck?
No, what happened was.
Has everybody got a beard now? Is that it? Have we gone to the mirror universe? It's everyone.
Yeah, we have. It's done.
Even the
eye
men.
patches all around.
No,
Indeed.
the thing was, it's like
a chihuahua with a beard. Anyway,
Gareth Edwards did Monsters and The Creator and Godzilla, and Rogue One, and you can say what you like about those particular films, but what they are all consistent in is there is a man there who's very good at putting special effects into film, very good at melding live action with special effects, and not only that, he has a very good eye for world building and visual design. So at the very worst, I was expecting to go there and basically go, I'm buying that art of book when I came out of it, and that was it. That was my bar. I wanted to see big dinosaurs, well done, nice action, nice world building. But you didn't get any of that. The biggest thing that you saw looked like a whale, and that was just recreating shot for shot the barrel scene from Jaws, which can go fuck itself because you invoke Jaws at your peril. But
apparently that was a homage to Jaws.
Testicles, and then
your testicles are a homage to Jaws.
As much as that thing is, yeah,
you're going to need bigger pants.
Exactly. He can't go down with two. He can't go down with two. And yeah, there was
25 tons of him.
So I've got a picture. I've got an image now of Roy Schneider with a bucket of fucking chum, flinging it all over your bollocks. Now this is it.
Man, I've dreamed of that day. Those days are past, but I've dreamed of it. But
oh Christ!
You know, there's just the directing's flat, the world building's dog shit, and all it's doing is resetting everything back to square one, and then just goes. And they want to see scale? Nah. It was just like, hold on, is Gareth Edwards really here, or did he just decide that actually the best thing he could do was put his name on it, collect the check, and fuck off? Because it was.
Who knows?
Go on, sorry, carry on.
No, I think I've said most of what I was going to say. Really, you know, as I say, I got some enjoyment out of it, so I didn't feel too bad watching it.
Cool.
But there you go. But anyway, moving on from that movie, I did watch something else. And this is because I saw Leslie Byron Pitt had been watching these films. And I'll give him a go. And that's the film Becky. Becky, yeah.
Okay.
It's all about
yes, I've seen Becky.
Yes, indeed. The sequel's been released as well on streaming. Was it The Wrath of Becky?
Yep.
So in this first film, it's about a father and daughter who go off to a property that their mother owned, and they're going away just to go away on a weekend away, right?
Yep.
And at first, Becky's not very happy with this because she thinks they're going down to sell this place. And then she learns from her father, no, we're keeping it and we're going to go away there for the weekend and have just get away together. And then she finds out that her dad has brought his new girlfriend along. And
Okay.
she also has a child as well, a 6 or 8-year-old boy. And then we get some criminals come into the picture. One of them played, or the lead one played by, who's the guy who played Paul Blart? Kevin James, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it.
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Paul Blart Mall Cop. Well, this is Paul Blart Mall Nazi, because he's actually not too bad at it, to tell you the truth. It's like, I wonder what would have happened had he played a few more bad guy roles. So, yeah. But anyway, what ensues is a sort of die-hard sort of escapade where Becky is trying to rescue her dad, his new girlfriend, and the child. And, yeah, with some quite bloody consequences, you know? I don't think it could quite make up its mind whether it wanted to be a family-friendly film, because it could have gone a lot more harder in places. But then all of a sudden she's fucking digging someone's eye out with a fucking colouring set, you know.
As you do.
But I didn't think it was too bad, you know. It was another one of those. If you got you're looking for something to do on an afternoon, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be too bad to watch this. So I've got the sequel to watch now to see where we go with that. So yeah, as I say, not too bad. And
where's that on?
That is on Amazon, I do believe. This is the thing, you've got one on Amazon and the other one, the sequel.
Yeah, Becky's on Amazon,
Roth and
Becky's on Netflix, I think. Yeah.
I think it is. So that's it, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how they work that out, but yeah, there you go.
Cool. Excellent. Anything else, sir?
No, that is about it.
Okie dokie.
Wonderful
Right.
stuff.
Lovely stuff. Well, let's go through my week then. Yeah, not a lot actually happening as in events in my life. So, it's all been fairly quiet actually. Apart from just because I mentioned it right ages back that I was going to try and lose some weight. So far, I've lost a stone.
Whoa!
There you go.
Well done.
Yeah, since the
Golf
end of
clap.
May.
Well done.
Since the end of May, I've lost a stone, and I now walk 7 miles a day, every day.
Blimey.
Bloody hellfire!
The bus is not working around your way then?
No,
The train's gone down?
not at all. No, and yeah, I had to go and buy new road shoes.
Road shoes?
Well, because I'm trying to work up to 5K and all that kind of stuff running.
Yeah.
I've got these running shoes which work on the road as well as on grass instead of or court or gym or whatever they call it. So I had to go to a proper running place to get some new shoes.
Oh,
right. Yeah, and they wanted me to go on a machine and check my feet and everything, and that was a bizarre experience. You have to take all your shoes off and just stand in something that looks like a transporter, and it basically scans your feet. And he's going, your arch is a little high, Mr. Metcalf, and your ankles are a little on the wonk, but your Achilles tendon is straight as a pin. Very nice. And he's like picking out all these shoes based on my feet shape. It's like, okay, but I tell you what. But before that, I decided I was going to get some shoes myself rather than just going to some fancy ass shop that does running properly. I thought, you know what, sod that. I've got some vouchers. I'm going to go to Sports Direct and just buy a pair of Nikes. Yep. So I thought I'll do that. I honestly thought I was in a was it some kind of prank show?
What was it?
Because I walked in.
Uh-huh.
And I know that somewhere like a Sports Direct is kind of one of those crazy ass places where everyone's asking the same poor bloke, to get them like 20 different sizes of shoe.
Yeah.
But I walk in and I go, can I have shoes exactly like my ones? Because they're old Nikes, but they're battered to fuck. I said, just exactly the same as my one, modern version of that. I'll be perfectly happy. I'll be out of your hair, 5 minutes, done. So bloke goes, oh, right, those are the Pegasus ones. All right, fair enough, whatever. Do you have them? No. All right, then, fine. Do you have ones that are equivalent? Oh, yeah, well, these ones called the downshifters. Okay, let's have a look at them. Okay. Yeah, I know. Don't. The names are like fucking IKEA. They're like, oh, we got the Ossophonic Delaverberator 5000 with the underslung overhead differentials. It's like, what the fuck is it?
Have they got a trademarked technology?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just walk the fuck away.
Yeah.
Now from it, because I've seen that Charlie Brooker program where he talks about fucking things that have got a specialized named technology.
Boswellocks.
Boswellocks, yeah, something like that. It's not always beware these things.
Yeah, so that was always my favourite. The Jennifer Aniston L'Oreal hair thing with natural Boswellocks. It's like,
yes,
that was an early finish for the marketing team, wasn't it?
When it just.
But anyway, so he goes, oh, you got this downshifter thing, and he picks these shoes up. And I say to him, look, I don't want anything that looks like a Rio Carnival when a space station had sex on my feet. I'm not having it. No. So he goes off, gets some black versions of them, goes in, he goes, what size are you? I said, size 10. So off he goes, comes back. I put them on. It's like, they're a bit loose. And he goes, oh, right. What do you think? And I said, they're a bit loose. I said, can I try the next size down? He goes, oh, no, because that's size 10. So these are size 11. Yeah, we haven't got size 10.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like,
so why did you...
Exactly my question. Why the fuck did you give them to me? So I went, okay, well, what about these ones? And I picked out another pair, totally different make. And I said, what about these? He goes, hold on, what are they? And I said, well, whatever they are. And he goes, what size? And I went, size 10. So he goes off, comes back, he goes, well, we haven't got size 10, but I've brought out some size 9s if you want to try them. What? It's like, are you having a fucking laugh?
I've got some toddler shoes that look very much like the ones... Would you like to try these?
Yeah.
We didn't have any size 10, so I brought you a kebab.
Yes.
Yes, this is the existential shoe shop.
Yes. It's like, what?
Would Sir like some Crocs?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, here are 2 Frisbees to try on.
And it's like, so I said, no, why would I want size 9s? And he goes, okay, well, I'll see if I can get a different size. So he goes in. I said, size 10.
Shopping trolleys.
Yeah, exactly. I went size 10. He goes off again, comes back out. He's got more size 11s. I'm like, no. He goes, well, I'll tell you what. I'll leave them at the counter. And if you want them, you can take them.
No.
I'm like, no.
Without paying? I just run off with them.
Yeah. So I went,
I'd like to play that person at darts because he clearly can't hit the right number, can he?
No. And then he tried, and I said, no. And he went, oh, but while you're here, I'm like, yes. He goes, would you like to try this? And he brings out like a can of spray, like a spray can of deodorant. I'm like, what? And he goes, this is for protecting your shoes when you buy them. I'm like, why would I want them? I'm not buying your shoes. He goes, but look, if you spray it on the shoes, it just evaporates and it keeps them all nice and tidy. I'm like, but I'm not buying your shoes.
I thought you were going to say that he was going to give you some gap filler, give you this size 11, spray that in, and then tell you to put your foot in.
It shrinks the shoes.
Well, yeah, I would have thought. But then he goes, well, if you don't want those, yeah, I'm going to have to show you these. Hold on. He says, the best ones for you are probably...
Did you end up buying something from him?
No, I did not. I ended up leaving. He goes, but the best ones, if you want to try something else, he goes, these. Now, these ones, and you can all Google this up, right? are called, and you can see if you can guess my reaction. Okay, they're called Yeezy. That's Yeezy.
Oh no!
Right?
Are they Nikes?
Oh no! Yeezy Foam Runner MX Cinder. All right. I will just wait for you to Google that up and tell me if you could see me wearing these things. And he showed
me. I think I know which fucking twat made those trainers.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. I know.
Yeah, because they're rebranded, right? After a set, the individual that fucking designed them started spouting Nazi bullshit on his fucking X account.
Yeah. While also showing off his naked girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
Now go on, Dal. Just get on. Get on there.
God, do I have to?
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeezy men's foam runner MX Cinder trainers.
What?
They look like a chrysalis of a moon larvae.
Yeah,
it looks like this is being recently vacated by some sort of knockoff face hugger.
Yeah.
The person who designed this can not only spell ergonomics, as far as I can say, he can fucking shove it up his arse till he learns.
Easy foam runner.
Yeah, MX Cinders. MX
what
Cinders.
What the fuck are they?
Useless, that's what they are for running.
Do you know what?
Fucking
the first
useless.
thing that came up was men's thick sole cartoon bear claw slide sandals. I'm looking at a bloke wearing a pair of bare feet. And not even any accurate ones either. But what the fuck are they?
I don't know. As Jim said, it looks like it should have spouted a face hugger or something. But they
do you put fruit in it or something?
What you don't really
it looks like a fruit bowl.
It does. What you don't realise is when you put them on, when you look at them, I didn't put them on. When you look at them, they're actually like twice the size of your feet. So they actually stand a good, like, it's like if you put your foot on top of your other foot, you could easily fit both into one shoe.
I'll tell you what, there's a fucking clown missing its footwear somewhere. There really is.
Unsurprisingly, I have not returned to Sports Direct.
No.
I really felt like Stephen Toast. You know, with Clem Fandango talking to him. I was like, you're the really fucking smart one, aren't you? It's like, he's like, what on earth is going on here? So, yeah, so I said that nothing happened in my life, but that was it. So that was what forced me to go to an actual proper running shop.
Those are possibly the ugliest things I've...
I know.
They've got holes in.
Basically,
lots of holes in.
The material is the same material as Crocs.
What is the fucking point?
So you could look like as big a cunt as the one that's got a name on the brand.
How do you run in these things? You must walk like fucking nosy bog. It's just...
all I know is you must walk around and it must just kind of go... Every time.
No, I'll tell you what it does. Every time you make a step, it goes cunt, cunt, cunt. I'm a cunt. I'm a cunt. I'm a cunt. I'm a cunt.
It's like you got two space walnuts on your fucking feet.
Just. Oh, I see. Right. So you take them off and they become a sex toy as well because of the opening and the shape of that. And right. Okay, cokes.
Yeah. Very definition of don't put your dick in that. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, getting away from the shoes for a minute, I did see. They're not shoes. I did see some films.
Okay.
So I will go through that. Firstly, Jurassic World Rebirth, or Reheated, as I called it.
Yeah.
Not impressed, not even slightly. And the worst bit of all, the biggest crime that thing did was that the most irritating fucking asshole in the film didn't get eaten. Normally, you can guarantee that if there's an arsehole in a Jurassic Park movie, they will die. The biggest arsehole in this movie did not die. Hello. Is anyone there?
The injustice of it.
Yes. Elton?
Yep, I am here.
Okay. It's just all of a sudden all the sound noise cancelling just obviously kicked in because you all went very, very quiet. So yeah, I have so many issues with Jurassic World Rebirth, but I have to go through them all individually, and we haven't got the time. The second film I watched, which was equally as bollocks, in fact, more so, I would say it was worse, much worse.
If you say F1, I'm coming round there now.
No.
One F.
I've already said I haven't seen it, and I already know the plot. Why would I go and see it if I already knew the plot? Is one called The Old Guard 2, which, if you've seen it on Netflix, the original one was basically Charlize Theron and a couple of other randos being like ancient warriors who are all immortal, and a new person comes on board the team, and they're like a mercenary group that do good by offing bad people. That's essentially it. But at the end, there was a whole plot thread of sort of Highlander thing of Charlize Theron's best friend from the Dark Ages 3,000 years ago or whatever, was discovered as being an immortal, and the local villagers rose up, trapped her, threw in a coffin, and then threw her overboard in the deep sea, so that she would keep dying, resurrecting, and dying at the bottom of the ocean. And the film kind of was like, oh no, Charlize Theron's got to go find her girlfriend. Oh no, who's been at the bottom of the ocean for 3,000 years. And then some fisherman finds her, and it's like, oh, she's back. Here we go. This is the action. The second film, which is out on Netflix this week or the week before, is essentially an hour and 50 minutes long, and it is, how can I put it? It's a prologue to the second part. So you're sitting there watching it for an hour and 50 going, any minute something's going to happen. Any minute. Right now. I'm sure it's going to happen now. The plot's going to kick in. Okay. Let's just pause it. Go make a cup of tea. Come back. Right, let's start again. Any minute now. Plot's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Pretty sure something's going to happen now. We get to 10 minutes from the end, and suddenly the big bad appears, reveals their plan, and then Charlize Theron and another go, let's go get the son of a bitch. And then the credits roll. And you're like, so I've just watched an hour and 50 minutes of what is essentially the opening part of the first act of a normal film. Mm-hmm. And it is literally, it would be the equivalent of if you took Raiders of the Lost Ark, and you know the bit when you're watching Indy in the classroom talking to all his students, and then he sees Denham Elliott, and Denham Elliott says, there's some men from the government here, they want to speak to you. And then Indy goes in and talks to the men at the CIA and explains the Ark of the Covenant, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Total scene, probably about, between the two scenes, probably about 10 minutes tops. It's like taking that bit and expanding it to an hour and 50. And as soon as Indy puts the hat on to get on the plane, the film ends. That's what The Old Guard 2 is. It's just like you just sit there going, what have I just watched? I've literally just watched a prologue to the actual sequel, which will be no doubt coming in some point in the future, or not, because everyone fucking hates it. But you just like, what on earth? What on earth am I watching? What was that?
So if you were to sum this up in musical terms, this would be like a dance track that everybody's waiting for the beat to drop, and it just goes, and it does that for a full 6 minutes, getting higher and higher, and everybody's like, any minute now, the beat's going to drop.
Yeah, it would be like Weapon of Choice by Fatboy Slim, and the music going da 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 da
it just keeps
da,
going.
and instead of going ba 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 da ba ba da 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 da, it just goes da 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 da.
Oh,
There's a
Jesus.
name of that.
Yeah, it's called fucking time wasting. Because that's what I sat and watched the film equivalent of for an hour and 50 fucking minutes.
Drop the beat and then record scratch end.
Yeah, well, exactly. Literally goes da 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 da, and it just cuts off. Unfortunately, Fatboy Slim died while trying to remix this music.
Thank you very much and good night.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for coming. Pick up your goats. Yeah. The other thing I watched was The Amateur. Have you heard of this? Right. Yeah, Remy Malek. That's quite good. It's a what it does. It says on the tin. Basically, his wife is killed in a terrorist incident in London. He's a bit of a dweeb working in the IT department of the CIA. He decides he wants to get revenge. And everyone laughs at him because he's a dweeb, but he's a dweeb with IT skills. And it's basically Don't Piss Off the IT Bloke, the movie. Because he does everything he possibly can to fuck people's lives up using IT. It's essentially it. There's some chasing and driving and a few crashy, smashy, bangy bits, but essentially he's not capable of fighting, so he just uses his smarts to basically blow people up, or in one particular instance, take someone's floating swimming pool that's like strapped between two buildings and blow it up. So it's quite enjoyable. It's a middle of the road, total definition of it's all right. You watch it, get to the end, and you go, that was all right. Yeah, I like that. That was all right.
He fucks him up as an IT man, does he?
Yeah, he does.
Or does he put like a crack screensaver on there? So they go, oh no, my telly's gone.
Well, he does at
And
one
like,
point.
No, it isn't really.
At one point, he fakes his location all around the world, and so nobody knows where the fuck he is. And then another point, he breaks into the CIA using an open port on a network printer.
Right.
So, there's bits and pieces like that. It's just like people going, he spent an awful long time at that printer. And then 5 minutes later, you realise he's been wiring back into the CIA using a printer. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's silly. It's ludicrous, but it's an entertaining time waster.
Can I ask, when they delete stuff, does it pixelate on the screen and it just deletes one pixel at a time?
Oh, no. He grabs whole swathes of files and just drags them straight in the bin and then empties the bin.
Right.
So proper IT at work here.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll never recover those. No, of course not.
Never recover those. And
didn't he even hold down shift when he pressed delete? Didn't he do that? To bypass the bin.
That's it. Yeah.
I press Control Alt Delete. That swimming pool goes up.
It is that bit as the swimming pool was.
Now to make my escape. Esk.
Yes. One. get the help document up. One. And the final definition of I also watched was Head of State, which is basically John Cena and Idris Elba as the president of the United States and the president of Prime Minister of the UK.
Yep.
Basically being chased all around Russia after being downed in Air Force One by Paddy Constantine in a helicopter in a ludicrous Russian accent. God damn it is as stupid as all arseholes, but the one thing that kept me watching is the fact that the two have a real back and forth, because Senna's playing it like goofy kind of, I'm the president of the United States who was elected from being an actor on a series of action films. And Idris Elba is a Falklands War hero who basically is just sitting there going, I've had enough of this fucking bollocks. And it's that kind of thing that plays off against each other really well. He's actually capable of doing anything, and the other one play acts at doing stuff, and he's absolutely shit at it. So again, it's nothing. It's not gonna. I can barely remember it after seeing it on Saturday. I mean, but the chemistry between the two is quite funny. You can tell Idris Elba's just there for the check, and John Cena's there for improving his cinema CV. It's passable. It's nothing amazing, but you sit there and you go, it's all right. Like I say, it's a total middle of the road. It's all right. You come away, you think, I've had a laugh at that. Bits of it are funny, bits of it aren't. You know, it's got it's got what's the Quaid brother? What's the one who was in Novocaine? I can't remember. No. Anyway, the younger
Jack
Quaid.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. Yeah, he's in it as like some kind of nutball secret hideaway kind of safe house like operative, and there's a whole scene where they storm this place. The bad guys storm this place, and he's got like a sort of false wall all around this room, so all the soldiers go in, and what they haven't realized is that Jack Quaid's actually watching them using a laptop, and he's hiding in the walls, and he just kind of lines himself up. He just kind of lines himself up with the guys who are standing on the other side of the wall and just like blasts them with shotguns from point blank range, and just keeps walking around all the rooms, just blowing them all away. And that's quite funny. And he kills someone with a microwave and that kind of thing. It's naff, but you just kind of come away going, yeah, it's all right. So if you're at loose end for that one, you just come away. You feel like you've had an okay time.
Yeah.
Right. I am going to leave it there. What I am going to do is very quickly get the feedback out of the way, because we had a couple for the what's the fucking thing? The humanoid.
Humanoid.
Like a humanoid. So yes. The feedback is quite straightforward. It's on the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/the Black Dog Podcast, and we start with Jeffrey Mark Hyman, who says, "So happy to have you guys back. Too bad you had to struggle through some technical issues. Still ongoing. If it's any consolation, it was a pretty amusing as a listener. Oh, thank you very much for that, Jeff. Congratulations on really scraping the bottom of the barrel with the humanoid. A little while back, Teresa and Jim did Time Guardian on the commentary club, and I thought that was a nadir of cinema, but that piece of trash seems like Blade Runner compared to this shit." Well, he actually says Drek, but I think shit's cool.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Sean Gleason says, talking about the temperature, which we were at the time, it's been 80 degrees Fahrenheit in my upstate New York, but it's cold as hell in my office. And he shows a picture of that. And there's the thing saying, carbon dioxide gas do not enter when the alarm operates. So, let's hope you're still alive, Sean. Peter Organ, Reverend Org, says, if dialogue that makes George Lucas seem Shakespearean, and a robot dog that defeats bad guys with slippery diarrhea, long sequences of inept special effects, and a complete waste of a soundtrack are your thing, seek help. That's all he's got to say. Martin Thompson writes in to say, like Jim, I genuinely came away from this thinking that Star Crash had gone up in my estimations. Don't knock the three soldiers invading army, though. It's a fine military strategy used by many invading armies, such as the Daleks, Cybermen, Zygons, and Sontarans. Perhaps not even that. Maybe just two will do. I'm sure this is all to do with strategy, though, and not the availability of props, costumes, and people. And finally, Ian Stead, Spaceship. He says, so you really like this then? No.
No.
Yeah, I watched it when I was aged 9. Very Odeon. My cousin had hyped it up somewhat, going so far as to do some drawings of the spaceships. By the way, boobies at age 9. Anywho, yeah, watching it now, it's really, I'm really dying to see it once more. Oh, good Lord, what can I say? 2 very nasty deaths, one by needles and one having their face burnt off. A few interesting and downright odd costumes. A robot dog with diarrhea. I don't think we ever mentioned it in the review. I don't think I'll watch it again. Terrible effects. Laser fingers. Yeah, it was terrible. And perhaps I'm more qualified to talk about spaceships. One Temu Imperial Star Destroyer, a strangely oddly angled landing ship, and a bollocks ship, which is the best of the bunch. And that's not that bad. There you go. So, yes, as you can tell, a full range of opinions on that. Mostly bad. So, yes, we'll leave it there. Right. We'll roll the jingle, and when we come back, God willing, we will be doing The Heretic. Until then, roll the jingle.
I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Because I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith.
That would be an ecumenical matter.
And Heretic is a 2024 American psychological horror film written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. It stars Sophie Thatcher, who you might have seen in Companion. Very good film as well, worth checking out. And Chloe East as Mormon missionaries who visit a home of an eccentric man, Mr. Reed, Hugh Grant, in his most Hugh Granty as Hugh Granty could possibly Hugh Grant, after he expresses interest in the Church of Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints. Mr. Reed's intentions become evidently more sinister as they enter his home. The film premiered at the Toronto Film Festival September the 8th, 2024, and was released around the world November the 8th on the same year. It had a budget of $10 million. How much do you reckon it made at the box office? Elton.
A choice between a left and a right-hand door.
Nice. Okay. Jim?
50 million non-existent blueberry pies.
Nice. Okay. Darren?
I think it made a fuckload of candles and one severed finger.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, actually, you're all wrong. What it made was one box of Monopoly.
Nice.
Lovely.
Yes. There you go.
You could say it had the monopoly.
Yes.
On Monopoly.
On Monopoly. A Monopoly. A Monopoly. Actually, it made Hugh Grant doing Jar Jar Binks impressions, but we'll get to that. Fucking hell. But actually, no, it made 59 point something $million. So it made its money back on a budget of 10. So that's pretty darn good. So, Darren, you picked this one, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go around the table, see what everyone thought of it non-spoilery. And then, once we've done that, we will go into the spoiler zones and try and get this all done and wrapped up in the next 50 minutes. What say you, everyone? Sounds
Hurrah!
good. Hurrah! Huzzah!
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. Or not, as the case may be. Right. So let's go around the table, see what everyone thought. Darren, you'll go last, as it was your pick. And we will start with you, Jim. What did you think of Heretic?
Well, I've seen this twice, so does that affect the order traditionally?
Well, yeah, that's true. Actually, yes, you have seen it twice. So you go before Darren.
Okay.
Go on, get to the back of the queue. Go on, off you go. Yeah. Elton, what did you think of Heretic?
I'll start things. Okay.
Get back on that stage.
I flipping loved this.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this from start to finish. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. I didn't know what I was getting into, but man, once we started on that roller coaster, didn't want to get off. I wanted the film to be longer. I wanted more of what I got. And I could have done with an extra hour of this. I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant. Okie dokie. For me, I would concur with that. I didn't know what we were going to get, and funny enough, once Hugh Grant gets into his theology stuff, and I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I just found myself wanting more of that. I really enjoyed it. I think it got a little weak towards the end when it had to do what it had to do, but everything else leading up to it was really well done, and it turned the screws nicely. So I totally enjoyed it. I really was thumbs up. I was totally surprised by this. I wasn't expecting it to be what it was, and I really liked it. So thumbs up from me. What about you then, Jim? So you saw it twice, you say?
Yes, I saw it start of the year and then again for this. Really enjoyed it the second time round. I just think it's a very well crafted film, and it's interesting watching it a second time because you know where it's going, and I have observations.
Oh, okay.
A second view,
Nice.
Possibly a tinfoil hat theory or two.
Oh,
But I think it's a very interesting film, and just kind of it's one of those movies. If you're looking to make a movie, here's how you do it with just 3 characters and a couple of rooms.
Yeah,
basically.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I liked it. Yeah, cool. Okay then, and what about you then, Darren?
I really loved this film. I really enjoyed it. It was such a unexpected treat. Because I expected it to be. I thought it was one thing, and it's like, there are only 3 rooms in this movie. I thought there was going to be a lot more.
No spoilers.
No spoilers at all. But I just thought the play area was going to be a lot wider. But I love the back and forth, the argument and counter arguments and stuff like this. I love the way that the antagonist and the protagonist played against one another. And it's I thought it was going to go one way, and it went another, and I'm glad it did, because that was another little layer added to it. So great stuff.
Cool. Okie dokie. In which case, you've heard our thoughts. We are going to spoil it in the discussion going forward, because we've had to jump to a completely different supplier for this recording. I haven't got all of my jingles installed. So I'm just going to try out the ones that are pre-installed here for our spoiler zone. So have fun with this. We have this. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Too kind.
Yeah. Stop. Shut up. And let's do this one as well. Spoiler zone.
Wow. live little soundbite said Brill.
Yeah. Let's try another one. Spoiler zone.
Nice.
I like that one. Yeah.
Ball locked.
Locks. Yeah. Hold on. Yay. Excellent. Lovely. Right, so
you need to keep hold of that one for why weren't you using that at the beginning?
I don't know.
The cast?
I didn't know it was here until now.
Right, you've got your little drum section there you can use. That's great.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'll just also for good measure, because I have managed to upload this now.
Shut up, Wesley.
There you go.
There
right,
we go.
so here we are in the spoiler zone. Let's get down to it. Well, okay. First off, let's get down to brass tacks. How religious are we all before we go any further? I know this is kind of getting heavy before we get going, but just so that we can put everything in context here, because I think the whole film revolves around faith and belief, and that may play into how we interpret who we like and who we don't, and how we believe in things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll start this one. Totally agnostic. So hedging my bets, get up to the pearly gates and then be like, well, I didn't quite know, so I was like, oh, okay, just because you don't know. So I think I'm more atheist than agnostic, but yeah, I'm kind of on that fence. So screw it.
Okay. If, by the way, I will just say this: if anyone feels uncomfortable about discussing this, just tell me now, and we'll just go no and move on.
Okay, goodbye.
Nice.
I'm out.
But
it's your film.
I love movies and I love music and media that incorporates this, because I think it just adds so much more depth into it. It adds all that history that it just comes along with so much more history. So the actual theme and the subject matter feels so much more weighty than what it could be just going in with a blank sheet of paper and, oh yeah, this is our story and this is about believing and non-believing about certain things. So you add that history, 2,000 or plus history of religion and stuff, and then you think, yeah, well, there's something there. People have told tales about this throughout all of mankind. So I think it adds to the story, and it adds to the weight that I carry with me in these stories.
Okay. Jim, you want to weigh on this or not? It's up to you.
This is a complicated question. I have complicated ideas. I'm going to try and bother them simple.
Yes.
Basically, I've studied religion a
that's
long time, all different religions. I think most of them, apart from fucking mad cults, generally say the nice thing. The same thing. Be nice to each other, for Christ's sake. Then there's lots of cultural baggage that gets in the way of that emerges and goes and comes back. But I tend to think that there's more to this universe than we know. And I'm basing that as much on spiritual ideas as I am quantum mechanics and my understanding of science, because, we really don't know much what's going on.
That's fair.
It's a fucking big universe. So I don't tend to want to rule anything out, because I don't want to be like the Victorians who said, we'll shut the Royal Society down because we discovered everything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm very sort of future conscious that anything we think we know now is probably going to be wrong. And I'm always looking to find out, where are we wrong?
Nice.
It's not the way you not expect. But also, in the context of this film, I say I will be putting on my historian hat.
Okay.
Because there are corrections to be made here. Or maybe not corrections, which is part of my tinfoil hat theory. But I'll get on to that later.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Cool. And what about you, Dale? How's your faith?
I would say I am an agnostic, because, as has already been mentioned here, we don't know for sure. That's it. As much as people say you can't prove the existence of God, it's like, well, you can't not prove the existence of God. It works both ways. That's it. is there something out there? Is there something controlling the universe? Is there something that made stuff? Who knows? Is it all a big accident? You know, I don't know. Mm-hmm. The only thing I really do have a problem with is blind faith. I'm not a big fan of people just doing things on faith alone, because I think that's open to abuse personally.
Yeah.
I know that's a key thing of, or supposedly a key aspect of religion.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have faith, but then that starts leaning into the whole thing of what the answer is, what Hugh Grant thinks is the answer to, the ultimate religion. It kind of adds weight to that, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
About control. So I'm open-minded.
Okay.
I'm open-minded to it all. I tell you what I do love, though. I do love aspects of religion. Certain things of it, like a good-looking built church, right? Some of the ones that are like all the fantastic sculptures and stuff like this.
I'm so glad
I love
you said
that.
church.
But then you see things
like a bit of architecture.
I do like a bit of architecture, and I do like the sort of care and the art that goes into certain religious buildings. But then you get the modern ones, things like, and I'm looking at you, Guildford Cathedral, which is basically just a shoebox with a pointy bit on the end of it, So
complete with you there, man. Completely with you. Yeah.
Exactly right. So modern churches, old stuff though, ancient churches, yeah, brilliant, love them. Stained glass and all that, and statues and whatever, great. And historical aspects of religion as well. Certain, the actual, okay, so what makes this up? I find that interesting as well. Not that I necessarily believe it, but it's always interesting to see what take a different religion has on, creation and stuff like this. And, oh, right, okay, so that's how you think it works. Oh, that's interesting. Yes.
Cool.
So back to my science fiction.
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, I would say I'm more agnostic.
Okay. Okay. I, as far as it goes, am pretty much. I would put myself in an atheist camp. I think God exists in gaps, and those gaps always get smaller, and the less you know, is the more gods exist. And for me, it's more about doctrine to keep populations in line.
Mm-hmm.
Do this, or you'll go to a very bad place where you'll be poked with sticks. And the fact that the rules from this omnipotent beings seems to change with whoever decides to listen to them tends to make me very, very cynical about the validity of the both the answer and the question. And I've seen some strange old weird stuff in my time. Probably not as strange as weird as some of you, but you can't work on work in a place where you have a 24-hour news network constantly surveilling everything, and you go into the room at 3:00 in the morning and sort of like see some of the shit that they're filming raw, and you can't just sit there and look at it and go, well, that's a normal day in the office. I mean, there's some strange old shit out there, but on the other hand, all of it, as crazy as it is explainable in some fashion. Whether or not you want to attribute that to a magical being, I find somewhat difficult to take. Because that's why I was asking, because where the conversation of the film goes, I'm pretty much on board with Hugh Grant. As much as he's the villain and he's a nutter, his ultimate kind of thesis to me makes perfect sense. And yeah, I can understand people attributing religion to things like visions, like things like your brain's kind of sparking off just before you die, or or hallucinogens or whatever. And I'm quite willing to believe that a concept of interpreting that as heaven, because you can say things like, I don't know, energy, electricity, which is running us essentially. It exists, but energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's merely converted. So if the electricity that's running you stops, what's it converted to? It just becomes potential energy or kinetic energy or whatever, heat, light, and that I can understand.
That is. Have you ever heard the? I think it's the scientist. Is it the scientist? The.
You're going to say Richard Dawkins?
No. Fuck off. No. It's the if you're a non-believer, if you want to give comfort to someone who is not a believer in God when somebody passes, there's a passage that was written by a physicist who explains all of this and how, like, once you're caught on somebody's retina, the light, the photons always exist there, and it's this really beautiful scientific sort of explanation of death.
I mean,
it's great. It's really lovely.
The bit that I always come back to is the fact that is the Carl Sagan one, of the fact that, there's elements in your body and there's elements on this earth and elements in space that only exist if they're made in the fusion explosion of a star. Gold, lead, all that kind of stuff. So you can only exist if a star explodes.
Babylon 5. We are all made of star stuff.
Mate, Babylon 5 was in the 90s. Carl Sagan said this in the 70s.
Yeah, I know, and that's probably where they based it.
Before that, the song in the 60s.
Yeah,
Southern Comfort.
I was going to say, we are
Stardust.
Stardust. Yeah, exactly.
I think the universe is older than the 60s, I'm afraid, guys.
Well,
is it? I thought that's when it was created, isn't it?
Everything else
dinosaurs are only 50 years old.
On another island.
On another island.
On another island. Oh, can you imagine that if they crossed over with Love Island? That'd be an interest. I'd watch the shit out of that. I'll tell you that now.
Jurassic Love Island.
Yep.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that down because I just think how we approach the conversation that happens between the missionaries and Hugh Grant might be informed by how we feel about them, might be informed by how we view religion in general. Okay, so that's out of the way. Sorry if that was an awkward conversation, or if you don't want to have that conversation. I'm terribly sorry. That wasn't really made to make anyone feel awkward.
It's fun.
Okay.
I'll just bring her up in my next therapy session.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Lee. All right, I'm paying for it. You can have this one for free.
Yeah.
Right, but next time,
oh right,
send
okay,
you the bill.
Okay. So, I guess the first question, for those of you who haven't watched it and you're still listening after the spoiler zone, the missionaries turn up. They've been mocked through the streets. They get to Hugh Grant's house. He opens the door in a comically overly complex fashion. They go in, and he starts questioning them and questioning their faith. And my first question to you all is, what was his aim? Because all the way through the film, he seems like he's trying to convince them.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's trying to deprogram them. Or he's just trying to lure them downstairs to become new prophets. Is he completely psychopathic, or is he actually just trying to get through to them? Was there a genuine intent, is what I'm kind of asking.
don't know, to tell you the truth.
I will say, having a second viewing,
Yes.
initially, I think he's toying with them.
Okay.
It's when he senses a challenge, that's when he starts the game proper.
Oh,
And,
so
yeah, and I did. I found an interview with the directors, and they said actually there was a very good chance he just had a chat with them and left them go. But it's because he senses a challenge and someone to spar with. That's when he decides to start the game. It's one of those things. Is kind of other people have. Not everyone who goes to that house ends up taking a trip downstairs.
right.
Because you get caught pretty quickly.
So because they're challenging him, and because
yeah, basically, it's that kind of this is interesting. If he was bored, you'd toy with him like a cat. Then go away. And so my views from having a second viewing, basically, you cannot trust a single word he says. I'm pretty sure nearly everything he says in the movie is a lie of one description or another. Literally nearly everything, apart from perhaps hell.
right.
I mean, you're talking with someone who certainly reckons he's a master manipulator. And watching it the second time when you know where it's going, you can see him sort of chess playing them. But of course, it's a rigged game because whatever he does, he'll go, I planned this all along, even if he hadn't. But you cannot trust him an inch, literally, even from the very, very start.
Yeah. So, okay. So, just going on from that then, he's a master manipulator. He's not, because he gets caught. But he's challenging them, he's sparring with them. But to what aim? That's the one thing I was kind of trying to work out. Was he just playing with them just to have some kind of mad psychotic fun, or was he sitting there sort of thinking at some point the end game would be that either one of them or both of them would be in the cages down with the prophet, or that they would escape, or that he would have somehow converted them?
I think once he starts the game, the end result is they're going in that cellar in one form or another.
Right.
If they both live, good. If one of them dies or both of them dies, well, too bad. I've had my fun.
Okay. So it is just pure psychopathic fun as opposed to an actual intellectual sparring contest.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, basically, you can prove it's not intellectual because some of the arguments he uses are what we historians in the trade call bollocks.
Well, I think it goes even more baser than that.
He's just playing at understanding theology. He knows things to say to needle them, but they're not necessarily true. He's not researched them properly. Or if he has, he doesn't care because that's not the object of the exercise. The truth doesn't come into it. It's only his truth. And for my tinfoil hat theory, why is he doing all of this? There was once a Mrs. Reed who pissed him off, and this is his revenge on her by proxy.
Sorry, Jim, you dropped out. What was that again?
I said, my theory is there was once actually a Mrs. Reed who pissed him off. He may have already killed her. She may have I think so. She left him. And all of this is him reasserting control over her by proxy.
Okay, so he's reasserting control over his dead wife using these prophets and the girls, yeah?
But basically, I think that would fit with this other typical psychopathic thinking of they're often to draw in the real world that they are kind of doing psychological cosplay. Their victims are standing in for people in their past, and it's ritualized. And this is very ritualized, much like the killer in the Silence of the Lamb who kills the families and puts the mirrors on their eyes. It's all the same sort of deal. Although Hugh Grant is a higher functioning psychopath.
Okay. Hmm.
So it's significant. He
I don't know if
keeps
that's a
mentioning the
tinfoil
wife
hat.
all along. She's like the unseen character.
Yeah.
And that's the key to it all. That's why I got from the second viewing. That's when you're like, oh, hang on, of course. This is what he's doing. I mean, I'm not sure his wife is dead. I think she's probably fucked off and left him, and that's really stuck in his craw. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of...
Oh, right.
I think that's
Okay.
probably even more plausible that it is this extended revenge. He's regaining the control he lost, which he can never fucking abide.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I'm not going to lie, Jim. Your connection's being a bit funny again.
Oh, bloody hell.
You're kind of coming at us from Australia. You're in sort of like 20-second delay mode.
Oh, bloody hell.
Sometimes you're okay, then other times you're not. So if we're not responding entirely shocked and surprised to some of your tinfoil hat theories, it's because we're all sitting there waiting for the rest of it to turn up.
Yeah.
Okie
Okie. Terribly sorry. Okay. Right.
Can I just butt in there for a minute?
Go for it now.
I think it the actual clue as to whether he's challenging them or not is a lot simpler to work out.
Go on.
By the fact that he's got women in cages. So yeah, he's a fucking nutter.
Okay.
That kind of just that seals the deal on that one. Okay, he's into torture porn, and this is his thing. This is his serial killer MO. And where the wife's concerned, I think he only made up the wife just to get him through the door. Because it's only because they asked if he's got a wife that he actually mentions one.
Yeah.
That's
well,
it.
he actually doesn't have a wedding ring on either. Just as a little aside. Because once I saw the blueberry pie candle, I thought, oh, hang on, and I started looking for details, and he doesn't have a wedding ring. So, just little things like that. Elton, what about you? How?
I thought he did have a wedding ring. But...
No, he doesn't. It's on the other hand. What about you, Elton? What's your take on his motivations?
I think he is motivated to fight. He's interested in how humans tick. He's interested in how other people react to situations, to pressure, to quizzes placed in front of them, options, choices, and information as well, how well they take in the information as well. You know, he's playing this game as if he is the creator, like the lady who created the game before Monopoly. But really, he is playing the Monopoly game because you have on the wall that picture of, was it Dante's Inferno type thing of all the layers. So that's the original, and really he's just doing his own. So he's not even doing an original thing. And yet he was there having a go at Radiohead for nicking the Hollies music, and you know it's all interpretations of other stuff. So he's only doing another interpretation of something else that he is aware of.
Yeah.
So I think he's interested in he thinks he's being original, but he's not. But he's also interested in how people are either manipulated or are really easy to change their minds. You know, when they first have the belief and the disbelief door, and one of the girls is like, well, no, I just want to, okay, fine, sir, I understand. Let's just go through this door and it'll all be over. And he realizes she is very easy to crack in that mode because she wants out. And so that gives him a lot of information about her, whereas the other girl wants to go down the belief door. They both don't know that they both lead to exactly the same place.
Yeah.
But it's interesting the way that they choose that and how they choose that, and how one is led by the other as well. I think he's just really interested in all of those manipulation. Who is the leader? Who is the follower? Who is the shepherd? Who is the sheep? It's all them types of layers that I think he's interested in. He's interested in what makes humans tick, because he also presents once you get down to the religion, and then he starts going on the simulation side of things of, well, if it's not religion, then maybe it's a simulation. You're like, hang on, you have just come up from one rabbit hole and you have opened another very fucking dark one there.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, the thing for me, I think in this, and this is where it goes back to me asking about your own personal religions, because how everyone's interpreting it is going to make part of a difference. But I think his ultimate aim is to prove that it's all nonsense, that it's all a nonsense. And he wants someone to actually. That's why, I mean, apart from the nutters at the bottom, the nuttery bit when he's got all the prophets in the cages, but it's just like the whole idea is to prove that ultimately the true evil of the whole thing is religious faith driving you. Religion and faith, they're different, not religious faith, but
he wants an argument.
Faith. Yeah, but also to prove the fact that everything that people do in this film is because they have faith that something's happening right, or faith that he's working, or that he's working in good faith when he poses the challenge that they're going to get out the door. That they have faith that he's giving them two options instead of one. And as he says, the prophets down in the cages, they could leave anytime they wanted, but they actually decided to stay because they wanted to show their fealty to God. They made their own faith, which made their own cages. And even though
he made the cages, really, though, isn't it? It's a self-serving argument.
Well, exactly.
They can't leave because they're in a cage, but they could if I let them out. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, but when
They're
he
keeping
does,
themselves there, really, because it's not my fault. I'm a nice chap.
yes, yes, point taken, Jim. But I mean, but my point is more that even when that happens, like eating the belladonna pie, they're doing it. They're doing it because they either they believe, or he's bullied them into believing it, or he's manipulated them. But the aim of the manipulation is itself kind of something pointing a sort of damning finger at religion. You're manipulated into doing what you're doing, and he's just doing it as well. Now, whether or not you want to equate his actions with religion is a completely different argument. But for me, his points are right. His actions to prove it are wrong. The idea that, how is he any different in his manipulation, in his challenging of someone's faith, in the challenging of someone's belief, or reinforcing of someone's beliefs? Because that's the other thing. He's reinforcing some of their beliefs to actually be their own undoing. Like, you could sit here all day if you wanted to. That's absolutely fine, and wait until the morning. Or you can go through the door that says, belief and disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
And he's giving them the option. He's not forcing them through the door. They're quite happy to sit there, and they could have sat there all night. And while he just whiffled on about Monopoly and whatnot, and made them uncomfortable until they feel they have to make a decision. Because that's the one thing I found really interesting about this film, is that at no point in the early stages of this is he threatening. He's creepy. He's asking them crazy things, but at no point does he threaten them. And all the actions they take is because they have an understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, but you know why he's not threatening them? Because they're already in a cage. As soon as they walk through that door, they're locked in and they're already in a cage. So why should he be threatening?
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, why do they go through the door? He gives them the option to go through and escape because they have faith. Because they have faith that and belief that he's telling the truth, that the way out is through that door.
Well, I think it's because he's giving them an option. It doesn't matter what that option is. If you give someone an option to do something or not do something, then it gets a human to actually think about that. They think about the consequences, the pros and cons of each and every option that they've been given. And it gets them ticking, gets them thinking. They could sit there all night. But
for the door to unlock.
But are the doors really going to unlock? I don't think they are.
That leads to another question. You know, at one point they don't believe he's going to unlock the door, but then they also believe that he's telling the truth about escaping through the basement doors.
Well, the thing in psychology,
where they are.
They do. Go for it.
The thing in psychology called the box problem, where they've done this lots of tests, and it's always, if you give people someone a box, there's a prize in that, then you present with another box, and there's another prize in that. It might be better, it might be worse. People will generally go for the new box.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those, it's just a common human trait. It was some, but not everyone, but you know, it's a definite trend that people will pick the new box. So if you give the girls a door, they will take a chance that the door might lead to a better situation for them getting out.
Yeah. But
there's also an amount of compliance to keep him sweet, I think, as an undercurrent to that as well. I'm like, okay, we'll just go to the next room then. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I just think that the manipulation side of things is a point he's trying to prove. Whether or not he's doing it the right way, or whether or not he's being entirely sort of like honest with them, is neither here nor there. He just gives them, the ability to convince themselves that he's acting in good faith in one way, but they're not acting in good faith another way. And I think that's kind of an interesting theme at the heart of the film is, are you working on good faith for all of it? Because you should, in theory.
Well, it's one of those things. It's kind of one of the traits and what makes psychopaths and narcissists dangerous is their ability to just nakedly lie. And you basically break those social norms of behaving within certain reasonable bounds and telling the truth and being straight with people. None of that matters. They don't care.
Yeah.
And, on my second watch, as I said, you can't trust anything he says in this movie, literally, because the truth doesn't matter to him. The truth is whatever he decides it is at that moment for his scenario. And that's what makes him, I think, more frightening than being threatening.
Yeah.
Because we're not very well equipped to deal with someone who's that disingenuous.
Yeah.
And where literally everything they say cannot be trusted.
No.
It's hard to have a winning strategy against that.
Yeah.
because he is, I think, at some stage, he might be telling the truth, but then he'll tell you another lie, which turns the truth into a lie as well. If you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you're forever chasing your tail with it. It's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tricky situation. Make no mistake, dealing with someone like that.
Yeah.
And how has all the cards, as it were, as well. I mean,
yeah.
According to directors, I say that if he'd been bored by them, he'd let them go. But there's a certain point where he goes out, and that's when he initiates to lock down the doors and knackers the bikes as well, novelty bikes. That's when he decided, right, game on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point where it all changes, isn't it? Okay, that's fair. How do we feel about the two girls? Because I mean, it was interesting to me that one, the Sophie Thatcher one was kind of like really, even though she professed a load of faith, she seemed like she was the one that without much faith at all, because she had like the contraceptive insert and all that kind of stuff. And, she came to it from, a father who died from Lou Gehrig's, and whether or not she actually was that genuine in her faith.
Well, she was her family were converts.
Yes.
So there is that sort of angle. She wasn't brought up from, year dot to believe in the word of the Book of Mormon.
Yes.
I think it's. I will say this: where those two were concerned, I was sat there watching this, and I turned to Rhea and I said, "So which one do we think is going to be the final girl?" And Rhea went, "Oh, I think it's pretty obvious, isn't it? We thought it was going to be Sophie Thatcher," and I was so happy that rug was pulled. It's like, oh, this is interesting. And then you had the one who didn't seem who seemed very polite and, very subservient, suddenly then has to get a game on and work out how to survive this and to get through it.
Yeah.
And it was great. I love that.
I have to say, I did like Sister Paxton, the other one, Chloe East. I did like her going down into the basement, and her last thing is to turn around to him and go, "Thank you very much for your time. It's been really nice being with you." There was a good line of dark humor running through this. It was really quite funny.
I love when she's honest about prayer and how it actually prayer doesn't work, but it gets you thinking of others, and that's the key to it. It's and then as she does that, suddenly prayer does actually work, and it's like Sophie Thatcher with the fucking plank of wood with the nails in it, bang. And I love that as well, because again, I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was it. She copped it. I did wonder how Thingy was going to get out of it, and it's a bit like that film Signs.
Yes,
it reminded me of that a bit. But I'll tell you what also reminded me of. There was a film with Christopher Reeve and Sir Laurence Olivier. I think it's called. Was it called Clue?
Clute.
No, not Clute. It was the one where it's just those two in a house, and they're trying to do a one-upmanship on one another.
Hold on, man. Look something on internet.
I'm pretty sure it's Christopher Reeve and Sir Laurence Olivier.
Oh,
I could be wrong. And they keep coming back in different disguises, and it's them two trying to work out, trying to get a one-upmanship on one another.
Okay, hold on.
I think it's because it was all set in one very small area. Oh, I did also say to Ree, well, that was the shittest escape room I think anybody's ever been in.
What, you mean Death Trap?
It might be, probably Death Trap. That's it. I couldn't remember the name of it. I don't know why I thought Clue.
Hold on. I'm just having a look now. Hold on. Yeah, Death Trap. Michael Caine, Christopher Reeve.
Oh, well, that's it. Michael Caine, not Sir Laurence Olivier.
Struggling playwright invites young writer to his home to discuss the script, but the meeting spirals into a deadly game of deception and betrayal.
Yes, that. I remember enjoying that when I watched it.
Ah.
Very, very good.
Cool.
Yes. So yeah, I did love how her character evolved, and when Sophie Thatcher's character wasn't there to kind of do that sort of back and forth, she then had to fill that role to survive.
Yeah.
And then try to outsmart him, the faith. But it's that little explanation of prayer and how what it actually is. I thought that was a lovely little explanation.
Okay. Cool.
I really like that.
Nice. What about you, Elton? I mean, did you? Sorry, I've forgotten the bloody question I was asking now. Actually, here's a question. Because Darren brought up Sophie Thatcher coming back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a supernatural element running through this film? Or
No.
is everything quote unquote magic trousers? Magic pants.
I don't think there's any hocus pocus or anything like that at all. I think it is all straight up. He kind of killed the first girl, but I think he'd run out. She'd run her course for him. He was not getting any sport from her, and so when he realised he wasn't getting any pushback, he ended up killing her. And she was just weak on the floor, and that was it. And the hero returns just for one last gasp. I don't think there is any hocus pocus. Although you could ask that about the butterfly at the very, very, very end.
Well, that was going to be my last one before we bailed.
I'll leave that.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. I think he is a non-believer. He's an outright non-believer, and he just wants to test
Thomas.
people. He brought in. He brought in the girls because he books that viewing type thing, didn't he? So he knew that they were turning up, and he was like, right, a little bit of sport. This is great. I'm looking forward to this. Oh, it helps that it's a crappy and windy day. He's open and above about absolutely everything. About the there's metal in the walls and ceilings. I'll be like, well, I am not stepping a single foot in that house. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That's a weird thing to proclaim.
To bring up, yeah.
You actually invite guests into your house. By the way, I have bear traps all over the place. Oh, okay. No worries. That's great. But yeah, I don't think there's any supernatural stuff. I think he is there to test them. And I don't think that the person was risen from the dead after eating the pie. That was just a magic sleight of hand type trick. I think everything was sleight of hand. There's lots of hidden doors and booby traps and fake floor traps and stuff like that. I think they're hidden. Even stuff that we didn't see before. Even the model that he was building, there was a little thing that layer upon layer upon layer that we really didn't dive into. I think there was some sort of thing that she found in there to get out, which really wasn't explained. But I don't think there's anything spiritual really in there at all. I don't think so, anyway.
Okay, Darren,
Sorry,
you were going to say
I'm going to burst if I don't get this out soon. Irony was his downfall. Irony was his downfall.
Irony was his downfall. Go on then.
Irony, because he faked a resurrection, and ultimately, that's the fucking thing that ended him, with Sophie Thatcher. So, irony killed him in the end.
Like that.
Yeah,
That's the ultimate religion. Irony, not control. Irony. Sod's fucking law. There we go.
So he was killed. So he's killed by Alanis Morissette, is what you're telling me?
No, because she doesn't get irony right. She did rewrite that song. I've experienced irony. I've missed a bus because I was looking at the bus app to see when the bus was going to arrive. That's irony. You see?
Yeah.
Not that you fucking a thing on a plane. That's just like, oh, that's just fucking unfortunate. that wouldn't have made the same song. Isn't it unfortunate? Don't you think?
Fucking Unfortunate is not a song that would get in the charts.
Yep. Isn't it Sod's Law? Don't you think? See?
Yeah.
Sod's Law.
When butter falls face.
How do we make a perpetual motion engine, people? What we do is we strap a piece of butter toast to the back of a cat and drop it. All right? Okay, there you go. There's your perpetual motion right there. Okay? Yes.
Okay. So Darren's into sort of like irony. Elton doesn't see any spooky shenanigans. What about you, Jim?
When they first went into the big secret chamber and that the prophet came out, I did wonder whether we were going to some sort of cult black magic sort of levels here. But it's pretty. No, that wasn't the case. We're dealing with a theatrical psychopath here, and I wouldn't say there's anything supernatural going on personally at all.
No, because the reason I asked this is that there's well, firstly the Sophie Thatcher thing coming back from the dead, because I'm willing to go a long way with horror films and people surviving certain things, but when you've had your throat slit by a Stanley blade and then had your arm literally gored open, so much so that a man can fit his fingers in there to pull out your contraceptive thing, you have to turn around and say, you're losing a lot of the blood there. A lot of blood. I mean, not just a little bit of blood. I'm talking about like a full ward of blood, a complete supply, a lifetime supply of blood. It is gone. There is no way you are coming back from the dead or surviving or anything. That is going to fucking kill you. It's bad enough with Hugh Grant getting the blade up through his neck, through his mouth, but at least that's not like hitting like major veins. That's going up through his mouth and then up through the top of his skull, and you can kind of go, okay, so it's not hit anything major, but he's still going to bleed out over time. But if someone slices your throat open with a super sharp Stanley blade, that can cut wood without too much problems, because we see him whittling all sorts of stuff down, you are dead. There's no second or third question there. It's just like, no, you are definitely dead. So when she comes back and she does, but she lolls about like some kind of ghoul or something, and it made me think of one of the stories that you've told on Hypnagogia, Jim. It's sort of like that whole idea of some wronged spirit basically coming back and wreaking vengeance upon its from their murderer. I can't even remember the story. I'm sure you told a dozens like that, and it was
a few.
A few.
In fairness,
but it's that whole idea of Hugh Grant's completely indestructible now. He's Michael Myers, and all of a sudden, like, the ghoul comes back to life, and the corpse comes back to life and fucking lamps him, and then just once the job's done, she dies again. It's like, okay, so maybe we are into some shady kind of spooky stuff.
I go with Darren. I'll go as far as that's cosmic irony kicking in.
Cosmic irony.
Well, it's because he's done the movie serial killer.
You know what? I take all the points you make.
You're down.
So I was going to say, Lee, I accept all the stuff you say about the coming back to life thing, and I would normally go along with that, but I think it was such a good I enjoyed that a lot. It was just like, oh yes. I'm willing to give that one a fucking pass,
But the other thing is, there's, going back to your irony thing, the irony is that he fakes a resurrection in that room.
Yes, this is exactly what I mean.
She comes back, she actually resurrects herself, so
that's it. He faked one, and it was a real one that brought him down.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But then you've got a real resurrection. You've got a real spooky event.
And it was.
I see it more as just that it's inverting the movie cliches.
Okay.
Right. He's done you've killed me, but I'm not dead because I'm a psychopath. And it turns out what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Hello? Anyone else hearing Jim?
I'm not hearing him at all.
No.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, it was going so well, Jim, and now it's stopped working again. It's all gone on the wonk. God. Right. Okay. I tell you what. It is midnight, and I'm sure we could talk about this for a lot longer. But let's just throw out our big takeaways with this film, and then we'll wrap it up. Darren, what's your big takeaway with this film? What's the thing that you wanted to bring up when you watched the film, and you thought, when I get on the cast, I'm going to say this. What were you going to say? Go on.
Well, it was more as we were talking about it that it's normally the case when we get films like this that are, that turn into something else we weren't expecting. I mean, we've had this with other films in the past. We thought this is going to be a 5-minute cast, and then it turns into a big philosophical debate, And I love it when we get these. Right, this is it. It's always nice to be the one that's picked it. So, yes,
nice
jackpot with this. It's just as we've been discussing it, and it's all the imagery and all the stuff you've seen. It's like the whole thing about irony killed him. I've just kind of my brain's just kind of clicked with that as we were all talking. And I'm like, oh, please, I've got to get this out. I'm going to burst if I don't get this out. I'm going to forget it, and then that'll be it. It will never get out there. So, I think it's more when we discuss it and we break it down and we look at the different aspects of it. That's when this is definitely what's happened here. So I think it's everybody's input, kind of gets you thinking, your brain actually looking at it properly. I think that's when we really find out how good a film is when we're breaking it down. And that's what happens. That's what's happened here with this one.
All right, then. Elton, what about you? Is there something really big, fundamental you want to get out before we start to wrap it up?
I think I've said the big things. I know we need to talk about the butterfly, definitely. But I just want to ask a question whether was that a feather that was falling down and landing on the prophet while she was eating the blueberry pie? Because there was a real slow motion moment. Because if it is, there's because he was talking about Radiohead, and in the song Creep, there's a line that says, "You float like a feather." And I was just wondering if that's in there because of that or what. I don't know. And I really hope it is, because in the middle of that song, he's screaming, "Run, run, run." And then she stabs him and runs. And this is the song, isn't it? So I was touching myself at that moment. I was really enjoying it.
I bet if you ever meet the director and ask him that, he'll look at you for a second and go, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I
know. And he's like, fuck, I wish I'd thought of that.
They were rescued by, let's say, Mo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that again, isn't it? Tom York, yeah. They were saved by Tom York. I mean, I did see the feather, and I was thinking a similar thing. The float like a feather in a beautiful world. And I thought, are we... Is this whole film just going to be basically a long-winded video for Creep by Radiohead?
Yeah,
it's made by a Radiohead fan. That's basically it.
I don't know if it's deliberate. I'd like to think it is, but I don't know the significance of feathers in Resurrection.
No.
If there's any kind of symbolism or something.
I know the symbolism of nails, though. So
go on.
Well, that's the cross, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's stigmata.
The feather could be from the wings of an angel. Because
Well,
it does mention
traditional
angel.
thing. If you see a floating feather, it's a sign an angel's passed overhead. That's the superstition.
It could be. Oh. Okay, guys, settle in. We need to do another hour.
Oh, God.
Are we saying the three-legged dog is America? Is that? Is this the moment we've come to?
Three-legged dog was an angel.
Yes, exactly. They're real angels.
That was Topher Grace's character.
Oh God, no! Topher Grace just needed some money.
And in the song, it's "You're just like an angel" as well.
Your skin makes me cry.
Oh my God!
Cry, pouring blood, cries blood. Oh God!
No. The skin makes me cry because obviously that he was talking about the slice on the arm of Sophie Thatcher.
Yeah. This is it. You see,
there you go.
Oh, we're going places with this.
Yeah,
I'm going to say down the rabbit hole.
You hear that sound of a drain sucking? That's us disappearing down the rabbit hole right now. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an awful lot of imagery deliberately evoking Radiohead because Radiohead plays so much a part of the theme of plagiarism and originality and manipulation and belief that belief in them and belief in the world and belief in the things that you like and you will hang your hat on.
Mm-hmm.
That I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the feathers and the angel thing is something deliberately inserted into the film.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. So okay, Jim.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, I'm just checking the delay there. Do you have one big major thing you'd like to bring up still that we haven't quite addressed?
Yes. I won't go into it here. You can. I'll set you some homework. But
okay.
Do some Googling. Look up the the Air That I Breathe case. And the origin of monopoly, and the whole Krishna, Horus, and Mithras, because none of that is, at best, is nuggets of truth.
Okay.
But for example, if the Radiohead, they wrote "Creep." The Hollies record company said, "Excuse me, that sounds a bit like our record," and Radiohead said, "Oh shit, it does," and they agreed to split the royalties with them.
Now that's an interesting point because that then suddenly says that it's them admitting to something for an easy life. It's easier just to go, yeah, it's us, take some money, go away.
Which is the Sophie Thatcher.
Which is the Sophie Thatcher thing. Yeah, you want me to go down this dungeon? Okay, fine, let's just get it over with. Anything for an easy life, let's get out of here.
But it's also that thing. It happens in music a lot. There's only 12 notes. You will get similar runs independently, and you will actually accidentally write a song that's very similar to another one.
Yeah,
with no malice of plagiarism. Happened to George Harrison, My Sweet Lord. He's very close to He's So Fine.
Oh right.
But there's a whole slew of these cases, and it is quite often it isn't someone ripping somebody else off. It's literally you've just come up with a similar chord progression. You've not realised someone else has used it. But also the similarity between the gods. That's absolute nonsense. I want to see it as a debunked theory because it's never been a historical theory. It's always been fringe crackpot stuff from the Victorians who like to link everything together into a theory of everything. Yeah. It's based on bad translations, outright lies. I mean, Horus was never born as a human. His mother was not a virgin. She was the goddess Isis. He was born because Set killed Osiris, chopped his body into bits. Isis gathered the bits up, got his penis, and impregnated herself to create Horus, who would avenge him. And the 25th of December doesn't come into it in the slightest.
I'm gonna be honest there. That's the weirdest episode of EastEnders I've ever seen.
Well, coming on,
Songs of Praise will never be the same.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're talking about the fact that Mr. Reed, old Hugh Grant, is actually a bad faith actor from the start.
Oh yes, all that, everything says in that theological section is either flawed or completely untrue.
Yeah,
and if you're supposedly well read enough, he knows that, but he doesn't care. The truth is immaterial.
But
even the Monopoly thing is flawed because he doesn't mention the lady who made the original game. She actually made the game with two sets of rules. One is very like the Monopoly rules we use, but the other rules, and this was the point why she made the board game, was the other rules were cooperative rules to show there was an alternative to the grasping, capitalist, everything for me.
So in some ways, with Hugh Grant, it comes back to faith because he is a bad faith actor, but also his point now is more about either he knows and he's deliberately misleading them, and they've got faith in that he's telling them the truth because they just turn around and say, "You're the much smarter man than I. Let's go," sort of thing. They're not questioning him, and that's maybe the start of the pushback. And yeah, I'm just interested in whether or not the outright bullshit he's throwing out is deliberate or whether he knew.
I think he knows, but it serves his purpose. And to psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, truth is a relative concept. Truth is what's useful to them to achieve their ends.
Okay.
Cool. But it's interesting because some people had a go at the film going, well, he got that wrong. But I think that's a deliberate choice in the script. If you go and do a bit of digging, you'll find out he's bullshitting. Really. Yeah. There was a very crap internet documentary on YouTube, Zeitgeist, which was full of this nonsense. And, the kind of things that raise historians' blood pressure,
Oh, God.
to wrath of God levels, kind of, which is rubbish. Where do you get this from, boy? Call this history.
What bollocks are you talking now?
But I think it's a very deliberate choice on their part because the film is so smart. I'm sure they know, they're well aware of that. They've not been lazy. It's a deliberate thing. What he's saying, he's using these crackpot theories and misrepresenting and also editing the versions, even like the Radiohead story and the Monopoly story, to suit his purpose.
Which goes back to his point about all the rulers of, heads of state, heads of church, who do exactly the same thing. Because he says that about the Mormon leader, John. Is it John Smith? I can never remember the bloody name.
Yeah, I think it's John Smith. Yeah.
Joseph
Smith. Yeah.
Joseph Smith. Who 1 minute is the polygamy. Oh, it's all fine, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, actually, we've decided it's not. Whether or not it's that kind of angle, whether he's playing that angle. But okay. The one last thing I was going to bring up was, did she get out? Is she alive? And the butterfly.
Well, the butterfly is traditionally a symbol of the soul, so you could interpret that as actually it's not a real butterfly; it's her dying.
Yeah, because that's exactly what she said. If she was to die and be resurrected, she'd come back as a butterfly that would sit on someone's finger, so that they knew it was her, and that's what you see at the end.
Yeah.
So the question is, did she get out, or is it like The Descent, where you think, oh, she's out? Oh no, she's not. Oh dear. Oh no. What do you think?
I go with the subjective reading. That's something she's seeing in her last moments, or at least before she passes out. She might survive if she gets medical attention if they find her.
Yeah. Okay.
But definitely, I think that's sort of a subjective, sort of symbolic thing.
Cool. Okay. Darren? Either his connection's gone or he's fallen asleep.
I don't know.
That's a man who wants to go to bed.
No, it's a man who wants to go to the loo. That's what that is.
Okay.
I mean, seriously though, I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't. I mean, I like the metaphor that maybe that she did die and that's soul leaving a body.
Okay. So, all right then. Well, I tell you what. So we'll stop so that your teeth aren't floating. We'll just jump to Elton. Elton, did she make it out or not? And is the butterfly a metaphor for the soul?
Oh, it definitely is. It also could be a metaphor for poor mobile phone service, because man, running around trying to get some bars this week for me was just incredible. It's 2025, people. I know that's not a good thing, but it's 2025. I should be able to get phone service, and yet I cannot. So,
and you were able to get through using butterflies, or what?
I might as well have passed a message on the wings of butterflies and got butterflies to spell it out instead. It would have been easier to do that.
Right.
Did we see the butterfly fly off, or was it just like a hard cut back to her finger and it was gone?
Yes, it was just gone.
It was just gone, wasn't it? So it could be interpreted many, many ways. It could be the last moments of her fleeting life, just tearing away from her, and her synapses is like firing off on all places, and just butterflies. Blah, 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 blah.
But also, sorry to interrupt, but there's also all those butterflies on that window in the ceiling, the skylight.
Yes,
when in the first part of the basement.
Yes, with the water dripping down.
I
couldn't work out what that other water collection thing was as well, if that was symbolising something. My God, we need another hour on this. Flipping hell. God damn it.
That's a water clock. That's a water clock.
Yeah.
That fills up, does a minute, and then tips forward. Yeah, we do need more on this. But anyway.
Either that or the butterfly never existed at all. I don't know.
the two-winged butterflies, America. Okay, right. Well, I tell you what. Let's leave it there because it is running late, and we are not. Well, we're going down a rabbit hole. I can feel it. Yeah. Jim's internet's staying up there, but for the grace of God. So we literally we're on borrowed time. So, right. I think we'll leave it there. If anybody's got any other theories, anything they want to tap in, anything they think we missed, and there's plenty we have missed on this film, by all means, send in feedback. Send it into feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or jump on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, and leave some messages there. Or finally, go and find me on Blue Sky, and I'm cartoonbeardy.bsky.social. And you can just drop me a message in the DMs there, and I'll read it out. So, that's that. Elton is not here next week, so he doesn't get to choose next week because he's being naughty and going away and doing other things. So, it's over to you, Jim. Sir, what are you going to pick for us next week?
Well, I was going to go something more twisty and turny and dark again, but I thought I'd go for a contrast.
Okay.
Because I happened to see a film that just turned up on Amazon Prime, which I did see many years ago in the cinema, and I remember it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a remake of a 50s science fiction semi-classic. It was directed by Toby Hooper, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
But operating in a more family-friendly mode.
Yeah.
And it is the 1987 remake of Invaders from Mars.
Oh. And that's on Amazon, is it?
It is, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Nice. Okay, I'm liking that. Invaders from Mars, the Toby Hooper version.
Yep.
Okay.
It's quite faithful to the original, actually. And I say he's just having a lot of fun with it. The tongue slightly in his cheek.
Yeah.
I remember enjoying it a lot. I've not seen it for a while. But I remember that the Martians are fantastic.
Yeah, I remember.
Designed by William Stout, if you know that illustrator.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the original a lot on BBC Two. They used to get a good play every couple of weeks or couple of months. But I never saw the remake. I only saw the actual designing of the Martians in a copy of Fangoria. So I know what they look like, but I've never actually seen that film. So I'm really intrigued about this one. Darren, what about you?
Never seen it, but I saw plenty of things from it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would ask you if you've seen it, Elton, but it don't matter because you're not here.
No. What version is this again?
The remake.
1987.
From Mars.
check that date.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The original was like 1959, 1960 something.
Have we done that 53 one?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
I think we've done the George Powell War of the Worlds, but we've never done this.
Yeah.
Never done this.
If they had the original for free, I'd have done that.
Oh,
but,
God, yeah.
As I saw the remake, I thought, oh, no, that'll do. That'll be fun, I think.
It will be a good, fun little watch.
I'm just watching the trailer. There's something's very, very familiar. Maybe I've seen the trailer many times before, but I might have actually seen this.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that's really thrown me now. Down is up is down, black is white.
Where's my eye patch?
Yeah, I was going to say. Where's me goatee bit? Oh, I'm wearing it. Right. Okay. Well, we'll leave it there. So, cool. Before we go, Pimp's Corner, Jim. What's happening in Hypnagoria land?
This weekend I've just released a reading of a H.P. Lovecraft story, The Other Gods. And this weekend you're getting the second part of my history of all that was good, geeky, galactic, monstrous and macabre in the world of ice lollies.
Okay.
Well done. Only you, sir. Only you. Okay. And what about you, Elton?
You can catch me on the Grand Prix podcast talking about cars going round in circles. But if you're interested in the Formula One film, you have
One.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You have two idiots meant in the nicest possible fashion talking about the F1 movie. So that is on the Grand Prix podcast feed. So, yeah, more than welcome to give us some hits over there.
Brilliant. Okay. Darren, I won't question you because you need to go for a wee.
I do.
Right.
I do.
In which case, I will just say the phrase that pays is Darren needs to go for a wee. Leave that on the Facebook group so you've got as far as this. Well done. And we shall wrap it all up now. And we will see you. Well, we will, but Elton won't. We'll see you all next week for Invaders from Mars. And hopefully better internet. Until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
I already came for a kebab.